One morning, Jafar the vizier approached the throne of Caliph Harun al-Rashid with grave news.
Commander of the Faithful, the city guards have found a chest in the Tigris containing the body of a murdered woman, cut into pieces.
The caliph's face darkened.
Find the murderer within 3 days, Jafar, or you shall pay with your own life.
For 3 days Jafar searched throughout Baghdad, but discovered nothing. On the 4th day, he was summoned to the palace, where the gallows had been erected. The people of Baghdad crowded the palace courtyard, for they loved Jafar and grieved to see him die. As the executioner prepared the rope, a young man of comely appearance pushed his way through the crowd.
Hold! I am he who slew the woman found in the chest. Hang me for her and do her justice upon me.
But even as Jafar rejoiced at this confession, another man, well stricken in years, thrust through the people and saluted them, saying,
Wazir, believe not the words of this youth. None murdered the woman but I. Take her vengeance on me this moment.
Wazir, this is an old man in his dotage who knows not what he says. I am he who murdered her, so avenge her on me.
My son, you are young and desire the joys of the world, and I am old and weary. I will offer my life as a ransom for you and for the Wazir. No one murdered the woman but I.
The caliph, watching this strange scene, commanded that both men be brought before him. When Jafar presented them, the caliph asked,
Which of you killed the girl?
The young man said,
I am he who slew her.
The old man said,
Nay, I am he who slew her.
The caliph turned to Jafar.
Take the two and hang them both.
But Jafar replied,
O Commander of the Faithful, since one of them was the murderer, to hang the other were mere injustice.
The young man then spoke urgently,
By Allah, I am he who killed her.
and he described the chest, the basket, the mantilla, and the carpet, every detail the caliph had found upon her body. The caliph was convinced and asked,
What caused you to kill this woman? Why do you confess without torture? What brought you here to yield up your life?
The young man bowed his head.
No, O Commander of the Faithful, that this woman was my wife and the mother of my children. She was also my first cousin, and the daughter of my paternal uncle, this old man who was my father's own brother. When I married her, she was a virgin, and Allah blessed me with 3 sons by her. She loved me and served me, and I saw no evil in her. Now on the 1st day of this month she fell ill with grievous sickness. When she wished to go to the bath, she said to me, I have a longing, I crave an apple from Basra, to smell it and bite a piece of it. I replied, though it cost a gold piece, I would obtain it for you. I went into the city and sought for apples everywhere, but could find none. At last an old gardener told me this fruit was rare and could be found only in the garden of the Commander of the Faithful at Basra. I traveled 15 days and nights, going and coming, and brought her 3 apples which I bought from the gardener for 3 dinars. But when I set them before her, she took no pleasure in them. Her illness increased and lasted 10 days more, after which she began to recover. I left my house and went to my shop. About midday, a tall black slave passed by, playing with one of the 3 apples in his hand. I asked him, Whence did you get that apple? He laughed and answered, I got it from my mistress. I had been absent and on my return found her lying ill with 3 apples by her side. She told me her foolish husband had traveled to Basra and bought them for 3 dinars. So I ate and drank with her and took this one from her.
The young man's voice broke.
When I heard these words from the slave, the world grew dark before my eyes. I went home and looked for the apples, only 2 remained. I asked my wife, "Where is the third apple?" She answered, "I know not where it is gone." This convinced me the slave had spoken truth. I took a knife and, coming behind her, cut her throat. Then I hewed off her head and limbs and, wrapping her in her mantilla, placed her in the chest and threw it into the Tigris with my own hands. But when I returned home, I found my eldest son crying. I asked him what made him weep, and he said, "I took one of the apples that were by my mother and went down to the lane to play. A tall black slave snatched it from my hand and said, 'Whence did you get this?' I told him my father had traveled to Basra to bring them for my sick mother. He took no heed, and when I asked for it back, he beat me and went off with it. I feared my mother would punish me for losing it." When I heard my child's words, I knew the slave had foully slandered my wife, and that I had slain her wrongfully. This old man is her father and has mourned with me these 5 days.
The old man then spoke.
O Commander of the faithful, I am indeed the father of this woman. When my daughter died, I could not bear that my son should be slain as well. I am old and he is young with children who need him. Let me die in his stead.
The caliph marveled at this tale and said,
By Allah, the young man is excusable. I will hang none but the accursed slave who caused this calamity. But first we must find him.
He turned to Jafar.
Bring before me this slave who is the sole cause of this woman's death. If you do not bring him within 3 days, you yourself shall be slain in his stead.
Jafar's brief joy turned to despair, but he bowed and left the palace. He kept to his house for 3 days, knowing not where to find the slave, and prepared once more for death. On the 4th day, as he was bidding farewell to his children, his youngest daughter came to him. He loved this child more than all the others and pressed her to his breast. As he embraced her, something fell from her pocket, the apple from Basra.
"My daughter, where did you get this apple?"
"Our slave Rayhan gave it to me 4 days ago, father. He would not let me have it until I gave him 2 dinars for it."
Jafar marveled at how fate had delivered the answer into his own household. He commanded his servants to bring Rayhan before him immediately. When the slave stood before Jafar, the vizier asked,
"Where did you get the apple you gave to my daughter?"
Rayhan, seeing the gravity of the situation, confessed,
O my master, though a lie may save a man once, truth may save him again and again. I did not steal this apple from your palace. 5 days ago, as I was walking through the city, I saw a young boy playing with it. I snatched it from him and beat him. The boy cried and said, 'This apple is my mother's. She is ill,' and told my father how she longed for an apple, so he traveled to Basra and bought 3 for 3 gold pieces. I took one to play with, but I paid no heed. I wanted it for your daughter, so I took it. When the boy wept, I told him to say that I was his mother's lover and that she had given me the apple as a gift."
When Jafar heard these words, he grieved for the young man who had killed his innocent wife, yet rejoiced that his own life was saved. He took Rayhan to the caliph and related the whole story from first to last. The caliph marveled and said,
This is a tale of sorrow upon sorrow. A careless lie has destroyed a family and nearly cost my most trusted vizier his life.
He pronounced judgment.
The young man shall be pardoned, for his wife's death came from the slave's cruelty and his own hasty judgment born of love. But he shall live with the burden of his deed. As for you, Rayhan, your thoughtless lie led directly to an innocent woman's death. You shall be sold into harsh service to learn that words carelessly spoken can kill as surely as a sword.
Thus was justice served, And the 3 apples, meant to bring comfort to a sick woman, became a tale of warning that jealousy clouds judgment, that lies destroy lives, and that seeking truth before acting is the duty of all who would live justly. When the tale of the 3 apples concluded, the Caliph was pleased with its lesson, but still hungry for more stories. Scheherazade then began the tale of Nur al-Din Ali and his son Badr al-Din Hasan, saying,
O Commander of the Faithful, I have heard tell of 2 brothers who were viziers.